Marie Curie was born in 1867, but her real name was Maria Sklodowska. She lived in Poland, a country with cold winters and proud people. Her father was a teacher. He loved science and books. Maria also loved to learn. Even when she was very young, she asked big questions. Why does the sky change color? What makes plants grow? She wanted to know everything. Maria's home was not always happy. When she was just 10, her mother died. Then one of her sisters also became sick and passed away. Her father lost his job and the family had little money. But Maria kept studying. Books became her way to escape. Every page gave her hope. She dreamed of becoming a scientist, even though no one believed she could. In Poland, girls could not go to college. But Maria did not give up. She joined a secret school called the Flying University. It had no real building. It moved from home to home. Students learned in secret, afraid of being caught. Maria sat quietly, writing notes, asking questions. She studied math, physics, and chemistry. She wanted to do more, but she needed a way to leave Poland. Maria saved money for years. She worked as a tutor and gave her pay to her sister. Her sister, Bronya, went to study in Paris first. Then it was Maria's turn. She was now 24 years old. She packed a small bag, took a train, and left her country. She went to Paris, a place full of lights and knowledge. There, she changed her name to Marie. Life in Paris was hard at first. Marie had no money and no warm coat. She lived in a tiny attic room with no heat. In winter, she wore all her clothes to stay warm. Sometimes she ate only bread and tea, but she was happy because she could study. She read science books all day and night. She felt like she was finally alive. Marie studied at the Sorbonne, a famous university in Paris. She was one of the only women there. Most people did not think women could do science. But Marie was not afraid. She sat in the front of the class and listened carefully. She worked harder than anyone else. She learned about energy, motion, and tiny atoms. And soon her teachers saw her great mind. One day Marie met a man named Marie Curie. He was quiet and kind, just like her. He loved science and thinking deeply. They talked for hours about energy and experiments. Pierre saw Marie's passion and asked her to marry him. At first, she said no. She wanted to focus on work. But Pierre understood her. Later they married and became a team, in love and in science. Marie and Pierre worked in a small old lab. There were no fancy machines, just wooden tables, glass bottles, and heavy rocks. They studied a strange rock called pitch blende. It gave off a soft light in the dark. Marie believed something new was inside it, something the world had never seen before. She was ready to find it. Marie crushed the rocks into powder. She boiled them, tested them, and waited. Day after day, she wrote numbers in her notebook. The work was slow and painful. But then she found something glowing. It was a new element. She named it polonium after her country, Poland. It was her gift to her home. Marie kept going. She believed there was more inside the rocks, and she was right. She found another element, radium. It was bright and powerful, a light that could pass through walls. No one had ever seen anything like it. Marie and Pierre were the first to understand this power, but they did not yet know how dangerous it was. Radium was powerful. It glowed in the dark and felt warm in their hands. Marie and Pierre did not wear gloves. They did not know it was dangerous. Sometimes their fingers burned. They felt tired and sick, but they kept working. They wanted to help the world. People heard about Marie's discoveries. Newspapers wrote her name. Scientists were amazed. In 1903, Marie and Pierre won the Nobel Prize in Physics. She was the first woman ever to win it. But she did not smile for photos. She said, "I do science for knowledge, not fame." Her heart stayed quiet, even when the world clapped. One morning in 1906, the rain fell hard in Paris. Pierre was walking to a meeting. A horse carriage came quickly through the street. It was too fast. Pierre slipped and fell. The carriage crushed him. He died before anyone could help. Marie's heart broke in silence. Marie cried for many nights. She wore black clothes every day. She missed Pierre's voice, his quiet smile. But she had 2 daughters and her work. She went back to the lab. She finished the work they started together. Then she took Pierre's job at the university. She became the first female professor in France. Marie now worked alone. She studied radium day and night, but she also cared for her daughters. At night, she read them stories. In the morning, she taught science to young students. She opened a lab for other women. She believed girls could become scientists too, and many did. Because of her, Marie kept working. She wanted to understand radium more deeply. In 1911, she won another Nobel Prize, this time in chemistry. No one had ever done this before. She was now the only person with Nobel Prizes in 2 sciences. But some people were jealous. They said bad things about her in newspapers. Still, Marie stayed quiet and kept going. In 1914, a big war began in Europe. It was called World War I. Many soldiers were hurt. Marie wanted to help. She built small cars with X-ray machines inside. These radiology cars helped doctors find broken bones. She trained women to drive them to the front lines. She risked her life, not for fame, but to heal. After the war, Marie started building again. She opened new labs for young scientists. She traveled to many countries to speak about science. She met kings, queens, and presidents. But she was still simple. She wore plain clothes and lived quietly. She gave her Nobel medals to help the war effort. She never wanted to be rich, only useful. Years passed, and Marie's health began to fade. Her hands shook. Her eyes hurt. She had been near radiation for many years. Back then, no one knew how harmful it was, but she never complained. She still walked to the lab, holding her notebooks. She smiled at young students. She wanted them to believe in science, even when it was hard. In 1934, Marie became very sick. Doctors said it was because of radiation. She died quietly in her sleep. There was no big funeral, no loud goodbye. But her light stayed, in labs, in books, in hearts. She had changed science forever, with her mind and her kindness. She showed the world a quiet woman can shine brighter than fire. Even after Marie died, her work stayed. Her notebooks, her tools, and her lab were still there. But they were not safe. Everything she touched was full of radiation. Even today, her notebooks are too dangerous to touch without protection. They are kept in special boxes behind thick glass. But inside those pages, you can still see her notes. You can feel her love for science, strong and silent. Marie had 2 daughters. One of them, Irene, became a scientist too. She worked with her mother during the war. She helped in the lab and asked big questions. Later, Irene also won a Nobel Prize, just like her parents. Marie's spirit lived on in her family, not just in awards, but in the love of learning. She gave the world more than science. She gave it legacy. In Marie's time, science was for men. They went to the meetings, they got the money, they wrote the books. But Marie sat at their table and spoke with facts. She did not shout, she just worked harder. And her results were stronger than words. There are only a few recordings of Marie's voice. She did not like cameras. She did not care for applause. But when she spoke, people listened. She said, "We must believe we are gifted for something." She said, "Nothing in life is to be feared, only understood." Her words were soft but deep. They still echo today. Marie Curie is gone now, but her story is not. It lives in schools, in hospitals, in dreams. She opened doors for women and for science. She showed that even in silence, one can change the world. She was not rich, she was not loud, but she gave us light, not just radium, but hope. And hope never dies. Today you can find statues of Marie Curie. You can walk on streets named after her. There are schools, hospitals, and research centers with her name. Even the element curium is named to honor her. But Marie never asked for these things. She only wanted to know the truth. She wanted to help, not to be remembered. And that is why we remember her most. In Paris, her old lab still stands. It is now a museum. People walk through the quiet rooms. They see the glass jars, the old machines, the dusty notebooks. It is like walking into her mind. Visitors feel the stillness, but in that stillness, they feel power. Because true greatness does not shout, it glows quietly. Many girls now learn about Marie Curie in school. They see that a woman can be strong in science. They learn that they do not have to wait for permission. They can ask big questions too. They can do math, test ideas, build the future. Marie Curie's life is a quiet message to them. You can do it too. And many believe her. If you walk slowly through a lab, if you touch a notebook with care, if you feel afraid, but keep going anyway, then you are walking in her footsteps. Marie's life was not fast or loud. It was slow, patient, kind, but it changed the world. And your quiet light can too. She was a girl who dreamed beside a window. She became a woman who opened the window for others. She gave us light, but also showed us how to stand in the dark. She showed that pain can create healing, that silence can make a sound, that science, when full of love, can save lives. And now, her light belongs to all of us, forever. You do not need to be loud to be great. You do not need to be rich to help others. Marie Curie showed the world how to be strong, with kindness, with patience, and with quiet light. You can do the same. Even small light can change everything.